We're back with Jill Martinez. She's a candidate for Metro Court Division 8, and we were talking about the DA's office.
Yes.
And the reason why I usually like to bring some of the inner mechanisms of the DA's office, that way you have students watching sometimes. They like to learn what's going on with the DA, how it works, how you get in there, and how the kind of the whole office and, you know, what they do and things like that.
Okay.
This is for future law students. You know, there's a lot of people that I've had emails come to me and say, why don't you ask him this or ask him that? So that's why I'm asking you a little bit more in detail in exactly how you got in there and what that was like. And so there is no, you don't have to be in some, like in defense or prosecution beforehand, right? You don't have to be in defense before you get into DA's office.
No, you don't really have to have any defined experiences. They're looking for a wide variety of people to end up working there from different backgrounds. Mm-hmm. I would say I won't say the easiest way, but one of the ways that a lot of district attorneys come in is they start in the clinical programs.
Okay.
So what the clinical program is you go to court under the supervision of a practicing attorney through UNM or through your law school. And they do have a prosecution clinic here at UNM, and it's very good. And
so it's a clinic, it's like more like mock trials, or is that similar to that?
No, it's not mock trial, it's actual trial.
Oh, it's actual trial.
You actually go to court, you prosecute cases, and
so you work
you gain real-world
with
experience.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. And you end up meeting enough people where eventually, if you wanted to apply once you graduated and took the bar, that they know who you are. They have some experiences with you.
So you get a lot of exposure in that way.
You do.
So you're looking to get exposure.
It's invaluable.
So anyone coming in, what is your recommendation? You just kind of start right at the way you started, or is there any other thing they should do as far as prior experience, getting into internships? I know a lot of them go through internships, and like my son went through an internship. Mm-hmm. That's one way of doing it, I think, getting exposure that way, I think, working with judges.
It is. Internships are invaluable because you don't always know what type of law. When you're in law school, you hear, and everything's theoretical. You learn about different areas of law, and you're drawn maybe to a particular subject, but it's different than actually practicing, and internships provide real-world experience and exposure to that, where you can make the determination that this is a good fit for me, or this is not. There have been many students who have gone through the clinical program and done internships and thought, I don't want to be a litigator. This isn't for me.
Wow, so they actually backed off just from that experience.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good though, because I think the programs like that really help out, especially for a student that's looking into law and stuff. But you didn't do this though. You came in by a different background completely, through biology, right? You were saying.
Well, I was a marine biology major, but because
so you hadn't thought about law at that time. You had no idea.
The seed was planted. I had a family friend, an uncle who was a prosecutor, and he had taken me to a fairly famous case. It was the Menendez brothers in L.A., and the Menendez brothers were accused of killing their parents. And he had taken an interest and exposed me to that, and that planted the seed. And ever since then, it's always been in the back of my mind. So when the marine biology quickly faded, I immediately went into law, or that path.
So, and then you discovered that you were leaning towards it, and you had the inclination for it. Because it requires being in front of judges, requires a lot of speaking and stuff. Not that you don't speak in marine biology, but I think this is a lot more formal.
Yes, absolutely.
Formal, and the court setting is a lot more formal and stuff. So that's one way, I think. Anyways, coming back to the DA's office, I just wanted to get a little bit more insight in what you felt and how you got in it. So all the judges that have been on my show, they have a different story, and it's very unique for each one of them and how they got into law. We were talking to Samuel Winder. He said, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be in law.
Well, that's one of the great things is we all bring different backgrounds, different experiences, different life experiences, different upbringings, and we all bring that to the bench, and that helps us deal with everyday cases, everyday people. We rely on our experiences and our individual backgrounds.
And being in the courtroom, I think you actually get the feel of how, well, it's a sense of what the judges go through and stuff. And I think this is how you are at one point starting to, you start to lean towards running for judge or.
Yeah.
So what was that thought process like? You say, well, I'm going to run for judge today. Is that something that you thought about? That came
No,
about
no.
Took
It
a while?
was, I had applied before. When there's an opening on the bench, a lot of people don't know the process, but you apply to a committee, and the committee vets through the candidates and submits a list to the governor, and the governor must pick from that list. And I had
She
applied.
appoints, right?
She
Or
appoints.
she or he appoints, yeah.
Yes. And in this case, there was an opening, and Susana Martinez appointed the position that's in there, the judge that's in there now. And I had applied for that position, and when I was not selected, I decided to run for it to
For that particular
throw my hat
position
in
there.
the.
Okay, well, that's our process, and which is it's a good learning process for all of us too. We get to understand how, because that's our system, and we are able to run. So now the person that first walks in there as an appointee judge has to
Yes.
go through one partisan election, correct?
Yes, which
And
is
that's-
currently what's happening with a lot of judges. You had Judge Greenlee on the
Correct,
show, and that is
He's
what's
also an
happening.
appointee, I
He was
think.
appointed, and now he has to essentially defend his position.
Correct, yeah.
So
And you know him? Yeah,
I
think
do.
that-
We practiced together at the district attorney's office. He was a former DA.
He's a former DA too, that's right. Anything else that stands out to you as far as the prosecution end of it that you would kind of give heads up to future law students, like this is what they're looking at as far as getting into the prosecution side of it? It is a tough position to be in. You're constantly prosecuting a lot of people versus defending them, right?
Oh, it's completely different. And as I had said, I started out defense. You have to change hats to be a prosecutor. And then when I left the prosecutor's office, I had to change hats again and do defense, which is currently what I'm doing. So,
But it
Yeah.
makes it easier for you, though, because you understand how the prosecution works,
yes,
right?
yes.
So you are able to switch hats the other way a lot
Yes,
easier, I think.
I understand when the mindset of a prosecutor when they look at a file, because I've been there. Now I use that information in my practice. So for any future law students or current law students, somebody who's thinking about going to either the district attorney's office or the public defender's office, I would say that to look into doing the mock trials, the moot courts, the speaking competitions, and do an internship or clinic program, because it'll give you the best feel for it if this is a good fit for you.
Judge Greenlee mentioned about the mock trials. I asked him a little bit about it. He said, it's a good experience. It gives you a lot, but it's not actual trial, like you said. There is a difference there.
No, it was great. Judge Greenlee and I actually participated together. We were both judges in the last mock trial, and it was a great experience. These high schoolers are getting up and being, I mean, it's just the most brave thing. It's courageous to get up in front of a group of strangers and argue a case, and they're not lawyers,
So
they're
they
high school
actually
students.
argue and they actually defend.
Yes.
So they go through the whole
Yes.
entire process of
The
how
entire thing. They have witnesses, and they cross-examine, and they do opening statements, and
So grade 11, 12, these are
I don't recall the grades. All I know it was high school students. There were
so mostly
various
high school,
teams.
not for college students. But
No,
I see.
this particular competition was for high school students.
okay, so I think it's a good learning process for
It
them,
is.
I
It's
think.
incredible.
I didn't realize that till I started talking to Judge Greenlee there. I said, I didn't know there was such a thing as. I know I heard something about it, never.
Actually, to kind of toot New Mexico's horn, we've won the national championship twice now, and I believe we're working on a three-peat.
Yes, he did mention there's regional, there's national, so that's a great way to learn about the entire process. Anything that you feel that as a judge, coming as a sitting judge, you would benefit from the prosecution defense side? Is it the entire, just whole process, the broad process, or is this something in specific you think you bring to?
It's the unique experiences. If I were to sit on a bench, what I bring is I was a prosecutor. I know what they're supposed to be doing. I know what they're not supposed to be doing. I know their mindset. I know the challenges of being a prosecutor, crushing caseloads and limited funds. And I also understand what it's like to be on the defense. So when you're representing real people and they're looking to you for help, and it's not just a file, it's a person that needs your help. And
Metro Court's a busy, busy place.
it's the busiest courthouse in the state.
Correct. Yeah. And they have a lot of cases they go through every month. Their docket's very, I think, several thousand per month. I think.
I believe it's 5,000 to 6,000 per year per judge.
I think I need to go for a little break here, as far as I can tell. Okay. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in a couple of minutes there.